Hello, welcome to Simplified Learning. Today we'll be learning Merchant of Venice. Now, Merchant of Venice, this is a play by Shakespeare. It's the English portions for ICSE Standard 9 10. It plays a very integral role in English and carries a lot of marks. So we'll be doing a line by line explanation of Act 1, Scene 1 today. Okay, so now Act 1, Scene 1. Enter Antonio, Salarino, and Solani. Now you see this enter Antonio, Salarino, and Solanio. This is very important. Okay, for all the scenes, you need to learn who are the characters present and what they say. Okay, like you need to know what is the dialogue that they deliver. For example, uh, like Salarino, he says your mind is tossing on the ocean there where your argosies with what you say and so on. And Solania also replies for that. Now they can ask you a question like they'll give you a line, okay, in quotes, and then they'll ask you who like made the statement. Okay, so now the problem will be Salarino and Solanio, the names are almost similar, and there are many instances throughout the text, okay, where like as we read through, obviously, you just read through and you don't exactly pay a lot of attention to like who's saying what, but that is a major mistake. Please avoid that. You're supposed to pay precise attention to who says what, and that will increase the marks you get because they ask a lot of questions based on it. So now let's start. Scene 1, enter Antonio, Salarino, Solanio. So now Antonio is our protagonist. Okay, he is a merchant, quite a big and powerful merchant. Salarino and Solanio are his friends. So now, Antonio, he says, in sooth, I know not why I am so sad. It wearies me. You say it wearies to you. But how I caught it, found it, or came by it, what stuff it is made of, whereof it is born, I am to learn, and such a want with sadness makes of me that I have much ado to know myself. Well, you see, uh, the English in those days was quite different compared to the English we speak now. So, at first, okay, whatever book you open by written by Shakespeare, it will look quite complicated. But don't worry. Once you understand the meaning behind these words, everything will become very clear, and you'll understand. Wow, this is so simple. Okay. So now let me explain this first dialogue. So now Antonio says, in sooth, sooth means truth. Okay, it means in like reality. He doesn't know. Okay, so he's saying that truly I don't know why I am sad. Okay, he says I don't know at all. I don't know the reason why I'm so sad. Okay, he says it wearies me. You say it wearies you. He says it makes me tired and it makes you tired as well. You say that it makes you tired. Okay. And then he says how I got it, like how I acquired it, how I found it, or how I got it, what stuff it is made up of. Okay, like what it is made up of. Okay, whereof it is born, what is its origin. I don't know. Okay, I have to learn this. And then he says that this sadness, it makes me an absent-minded fellow. It makes me so absent-minded that I have a lot of trouble to know myself. He says that this sadness, it makes me so absent-minded that I don't even know who I am. I don't even know what I am. Okay. So now, Salarino replies, your mind is tossing on the ocean, where your argosies with portly sail, like sinews and rich burghers on the flood, or, as it were, the pageants of the sea. To overpeer the petty traffickers that curtsy to them, do them reverence as they fly by them with their woven wings. So now, Salarino, like I told you before, Antonio now is a merchant. Okay, so now Antonio, he says that he's sad. So now, obviously, it's common sense, right? If he's sad, it has like anyone would guess that in those days, merchants they sent ships out. Now there was no buses, no cars, no trains, so everything was done by ship. And obviously, as we know, ships are prone to danger. Okay, they can crash. Okay, and they can completely get destroyed. All the money is lost. So now, what Salarino says? He says that your mind, okay, it's being occupied. You're always thinking about the ocean. Okay, your Argosies. Now, Argosies, it literally means a big ship. Okay, a big merchant ship. Okay, where your argosies with portly, okay, with like majestic, stately sail, okay, like signors. Signors, right? Signors is just a Italian term for gentleman, okay? And rich burghers. Burghers means like VIPs, very important citizens, important men, okay, on the flood. Flood, it's just the sea, okay, the ocean, or as it were, the pageants of the sea. Pageants means like processions, okay? Processions. Have you seen processions before? Um, you see all the displays that they show will all be majestic and uh, you know, awe, awe-inducing. It'll be just wow, right? It will be amazing. So he's like saying that your mind, you're just being preoccupied with the ocean and your boats, your big commercial ships, you're just thinking about them and these ships. And then he goes on to give a dialogue saying that these ships, he like praises the ships, saying that they look over the smaller tiny boats that go across them, and then like these boats, they bow down in reverence to them as they sail past these big boats with their uh, woven wings sails. So now in this passage, in this tiny dialogue, what Salarino says is actually your mind, you're just being preoccupied with the ocean. That's why you're sad. You're just worrying about your ships with your majestic sails and okay, like, and then he compares them with gentlemen and with rich people, rich important people, and then he also compares those ships with processions, and then he says that these ships they go across smaller boats. These boats like pay their respects to these big ships by bowing down to them as these big ships pass by with their big and big sails. Okay, woven wings sails. Okay. So now Solanio now says, believe me, sir, had I such venture forth, the better part of my affections would be with my hopes abroad. I should be still plucking the grass to know where sits the wind, piring in maps for ports and piers and roads, and every object that may make me fear misfortune to my ventures, out of doubt, would make me sad. So now, Solanio, you see, Solanio, he just continues what Salarino said. He just says, okay, he says, trust me, sir. Okay, sir, now you'll be wondering, why you say that they're friends, but why do they call each other sir? Well, that's just the culture over there. In those days, it was tradition, it was custom, okay, to call a very important person sir. So even if they're friends, okay, Antonio is a merchant of very high standing, so it's just a term of respect. So he says, believe me, sir, had I such venture forth, if I do the same business that you did, if I too had the task of sending ships, okay, the better part of my affections, okay, like the better part of my thoughts would always be with my hopes abroad. Why hopes? Because these ships, okay, they are his main source of income. If they crash, all gone. Okay, so his everything, he just hopes that they come back safe. So he says, all my thoughts, okay, would be with my hopes, okay, which are abroad because these ships go to different countries. Now, he says, I I would be plucking the grass. Okay, you see, if you pluck the grass and hold it out when the wind blows, you'll see that the grass moves in the direction of the wind. So he's like taking grass and then holding it out to see which direction the wind is flowing, and then he then goes and then he searches in uh, ports. He searches in maps for ports and piers and roads and and then he says that every object that makes me fear misfortunes to my ventures out of doubt would make me sad. Every object that I see that would remind me of all the misfortunes that could happen would undoubtedly make me sad. So now Salarino goes on to say a very big dialogue. He says, my wind cooling my broth would blow me to an ague when I thought what harm a wind too great might do at sea. So now he says, my wind, my breath. Okay, like when a broth is a soup, so like you blow on soup to cool it down. So he says that when I blow on my soup to cool it down, on seeing my breath, okay, it would like make me go into an ague. An ague is a fever, okay. He says that just like seeing his own breath, okay, he'll start shivering. Okay, it's like a shivering cold kind of thing. An ague, it's kind of like a fever, a shivering fever. Okay, when he thinks, okay, because it would remind him of what damage a very strong wind could do to his ships. Then he says that I should not see the sandy hourglass run, and I should think of shallows and of flats, and see my wealthy Andrew docked in sand, wailing a high top lower than her ribs to kiss her burial. He says, you see, in those days they used hourglasses, right, to like measure time. So he says that I should not see the sandy hourglass run. He should not see the time. He should not like see the time on the hourglass. Okay, because then on seeing the sand in the hourglass, he'll get reminded of shallows and flats. Now these and flats, they're just like sandbanks. Okay, they're like ups and downs. Since they're under the water, you can't see them. So if the ship goes in, you know runs aground, then all gone, right? The wealth, they'll be stuck there, and by the time a lot of things could happen. So he says the ship could crash and stuff. So he says that I should not think of these. I should not see this sandy. I should not see the sand in the hourglass, because if I see it, I'll get reminded of the shallows and flats, the various sandbanks and sea, and then I will remember my wealthy Andrew. Now, Andrew is just a term, okay, for a very big ship. Okay, it's just uh, Andrew is just a common name. Okay, in those days they called all big ships, big commercial ships, as Andrew. To see my wealthy Andrew docked in sand. Okay, like obviously he'll get run aground on sand, wailing her high top lowered at her lips. A ship has sails with those long masts. So, like, what happens? The ship, when it runs aground, it tilts to a side, and then the mast it touches the ground. So he says that her high top, her mast, it touches the ground lower than her ribs. She rips the sides of the ship. Okay, so it just slants over slow. It just falls to the side, and then its masts touch the ground. okay, to kiss her burial. It's almost like a lady is um, bending down to kiss herself goodbye. Okay. So now he says that should I go to church and see the holy edifice of stone and not bethink me straight of dangerous rocks, which touching but my gentle vessel's side would scatter all her spices on my stream, enrobe the roaring waters with my silk. Okay. So now he says that oh, I don't want to go to church. I would not want to go to church either because on seeing the building made out of stone, okay, it would remind me of the dangerous rocks. You know that if a ship crashes into a rock, obviously it will get broken apart and sink. So then he says that I don't want to go and see the building made out of rocks because then I'll think of dangerous rocks which are at sea and the dangers that they pose. Okay, the rocks, if they just touch my ship's side, okay, all her spices, all the wealth that she carries will, will all be gone. Okay? And then he says, and in a word, but even now worth this and now worth nothing? Shall I have the thought to think on this? And shall I lack the thought that such a thing be chanced would make me sad? But tell not me. I know Antonio is sad to think upon his merchandise. Now he says, and now just to make it short, to cut short, okay, all this, okay, it was worth a huge amount just a moment. But now, if any such, disaster happens, it's worth nothing, right? Like just a moment ago, it was worth lots of money, and now, just because of a tiny disaster or a major one, all money is gone. So now he says, if, okay, if I can think of such things happening, obviously I also know that if such things that to just think of such things would make me sad. Okay, so isn't he says like he just says obviously I can think, okay, of such things. If I can think of such things, then I would know that I'll be sad that if such things could happen to my wealth. Okay, and he says, "Oh, I know what's wrong with Antonio. He's just sad to think about this. He's just sad because he keeps thinking about the ships." Antonio replies, "Believe me, no. I thank my fortune for it. My ventures are not in one bottom trusted, nor to one place, nor is my whole estate upon the fortune of this present year. Therefore, my merchandise makes me not sad." So now, Antonio, what does Antonio say? He says that, oh, just believe me. No, you see, I thank my fortune for it. I thank my luck for it. See, here fortune, it can either be taken as luck or it could be taken as wealth. Okay, he says, believe me, this is not the case. I thank my luck or my wealth for it. Okay, he says that my businesses, okay, they they do not depend on just one ship, okay, one bottom, one ship, nor does it depend on just one place, okay, nor does my full entire wealth, okay, whole estate means all my wealth, all my assets, okay, they don't just depend upon the fortune of this present year, the wealth I make this year, okay, therefore I don't worry about my merchandise, okay, it does not make me sad. Okay. So now, Antonio, he just said, you see, I don't like exactly have a lot of wealth being bet on these ships. I have lots of wealth left over, so I'm not really, um, I won't be really affected even if I lose my ships. So no, my merchandise don't make me sad. So now Solanio says, why then? You are in love. Antonio says, five means nonsense. Okay, it's like nonsense. Okay. So now Solanio says, not in love neither. So now you see, not in love neither. So you'll be like wondering why. You can just say not in love either, right? Why neither over there? This neither is just like to put double emphasis on a negative sentence. Okay, he's just Shakespeare here has just used neither because he wants to put double emphasis, saying that this is like an extremely negative sentence. Okay, not in love neither. Then let us say you are sad because you're not merry, and 'twere as easy for you to laugh and leap and say you are merry because you're not sad. So now Solania says, fine, you're not in love neither. You're not in love either. Okay, let's just say that you're sad because you're not happy. Okay, and obviously it will also be easy for you to like jump around and say and to laugh and jump and be happy. Okay, just because you're not sad. Okay, then he says, now by two-headed Janus, nature hath framed strange fellows in her time. Okay, some that will evermore peep to their eyes and laugh like parrots at a bagpiper, and other of such vinegar aspect that they'll not show their teeth in way of a smile, though Nestor swear the jest be laughable. Okay, so now Silanus says, okay, now by two-headed Janus. Now who's Janus? Okay, he says two-headed Janus. You see, Janus was a Roman god. Okay, he's known as the god of doors. Okay, so he used to have two heads. Okay, one left, one right. So obviously you can understand what this implies, right? Two choices, two doors. So you can either take the left door or the right door. So now what he means by this is that two kinds of people are there. Okay, nature she has framed okay strange people, okay, and they're mostly of two types. Okay, some that are very joyful. Okay, they are very active and they keep laughing at everything. They laugh like parrots. You know, parrots it's a bird. So even like if you train it, unless you train it, it will just like make laughing noises bagpiper, and like they will keep on laughing, and because they keep on laughing, uh when you laugh, okay, you like shrink your eyes and then you laugh, right? So that's why he says some that will evermore peep to their eyes, because like when they laugh they keep on laughing such that their eyes are permanently shrunken, like their eyebrows are shrunken, and it just seems that they're always peeping out to their eyes because they keep on laughing. And then he says the other type, they're of such a vinegar aspect, means they're like really serious. Okay. And then he says that they won't even smile, even though Nestor himself says that the joke is really funny. Okay. So now Nestor was a general. Okay, he was a Greek general. He fought in the Trojan War, the famous Trojan War. Yes, and Nestor. Okay, he was a very powerful general, and he was a really really serious man. Okay, he was a no nonsense serious man who it was very difficult to make him laugh. Okay, it was really difficult to make him laugh. So even if Nestor himself says that the joke is funny, okay, these people won't laugh. So now what Solanio tries to tell in these passages, he just tells, okay, fine, you're not in love either. Okay, let's just say, okay, that you're sad because you're not happy. And in the same way, you can be happy just because you're not sad. Okay, this is because there are two types of people. Okay, as this is the order of nature, and one will be like really happy and laughing, and the other will be very serious, and they won't even laugh at the tiniest, they won't even laugh at the most funniest jokes. Suddenly, now what happens is enter Bassanio, Lorenzo, and Graciano. Now you see, Bassanio, Lorenzo, and Graciano are one of the most important characters in this play, especially Bassanio. Okay, the play it literally revolves around these gentlemen. So now Bassanio, Lorenzo, as well as Graciano, they are all friends of Antonio. Again, yes, they're his friends. So now Solanio continues. Okay, even after Bassanio, Lorenzo, and Graciano comes, Solano continues. He says, "Here comes Bassanio, your most noble kinsman, your most noble kinsman, your most noble friend, your most noble, friends forever, BFF, best friend." Okay, so now your most noble friend, Graciano and Lorenzo. Fare you well. We leave you now with better company. Okay, so now he says he refers to Bassanio as a most noble kinsman and Gracian, and then he just mentions Graciano and Lorenzo. You'll be wondering why. Well, this is because Bassanio and Antonio are the best of friends. Okay, that friend you have, right? That one friend whom you share everything with. Okay, that one friend who like you consider to be very close to you, almost like a family member. Well, that's how Bassanio and Antonio are. Okay, so now he says, "Goodbye. We now leave you with better people. Okay, better people to keep you company with rather than us. Okay, so now Antonio. So then Salarino says, "Oh, I would have stayed till I had made you merry if worthier friends had not prevented me." Salarino says, "Oh, I would have stayed with you till you became happy, but now obviously there are more worthy friends than I am here. So they will make you maybe." So now Antonio says, "Your worth is very dear in my regard. I take it your own business calls to you, and you embrace the occasion to depart." Antonio says, "Your worth, okay? You are worth a lot in my eyes. Okay, you are worth a lot to me. Okay, it's not like you are no less worthy than them. You are also worth a lot to me. Okay, I just see like this. You just see this as an excuse. Okay, you have your own business to tend to, and you're just taking this as an excuse to leave. Okay, so Salarino says, "Good morrow, my good lords." Okay, Salarino. Okay, now Salarino, he's wishing whom? He's wishing Bassanio, Lorenzo, and Graciano. Okay, he's saying, "Good morrow, my good lords." Good morrow means good morning. Okay, he says, "Good morning, my good lords." I told you before, this was a common term, even though they were friends, it's just like a term of respect. Okay, so now Bassanio says, "Good signors both, when shall we have a laugh? Say, when? You grow exceeding strange. Must it be so?" Okay, Bassanio. Now, this is Bassanio's first dialogue. Okay, he says, "Good signors both, when shall we have a laugh?" He says, "Oh, both of you are very good gentlemen. When shall we have a party together? Say, when shall we have a nice meeting? You are growing. I haven't seen you in a very long time. Okay, it's almost like we are becoming strangers. Must this be so? Okay, I don't like this. Why are we becoming strangers? Come on, we'll have a party together. Tell when." Okay, so Salarino says, "We'll make it our leisures to attend on yours." So Salarino says, "When we are both free, we can have a party together or we can have a meeting." So then now Salarino and Solanio, they leave. Okay, they leave. Okay, they have their own businesses. So now Lorenzo says, "My lord Bassani, since you have found Antonio, we too will leave you, but at dinner time I pray you have in mind where we must meet." So now Lorenzo, he talks to Bassanio. He says, "My lord Bassanio." Okay, now if you see, "My lord Bassanio," this is in all caps. Okay, now you will see throughout the play when the characters are referring to Bassanio, they always refer to him with all caps. Okay, well, except Antonio because they're very close friends. Okay, so now my lord Bassanio. Do you know why? Because this shows us, okay, this shows us that Bassanio wasn't a normal person. Okay, this shows us that Bassanio was most likely a nobleman. Okay, so now he says, "My lord Bassanio, since you have found Antonio, my lord Bassanio, now that you have met Antonio, we too, okay, who too, Lorenzo and Graciano are both, we too will leave you." Okay, but then he says, "But at dinner time Please, okay, remember where we must meet. Bassanio says, I will not fail you. He says, don't worry. I will come there. Okay. So now Graciano says, you look not well, Signor. This is Graciano's first dialogue. Okay. So now Graciano, he is in this play. You see, this play is majorly a romantic comedy as well as a tragedy. So now Graciano is one of the comic characters in this play. Okay, he plays the character of that that one friend who's always there, who makes unnecessary comments and who talks out loudly. Such a friend. Okay, he plays the character of that. So now Graciano says, you look not well, Signor Antonio. You have too much respect upon the world. They lose it, that do buy it with much care. Believe me, you are marvelously changed. So Graciano says, oh, Signor Antonio, you don't look too well. Why? You respect the world too much. You have too much respect upon the world. Means you have too many worries about the world. Okay, they lose it, they do buy it with much care. Okay, he says that who think about this, who think about worldly matters and worry about them, right? They completely lose their happiness. He says, believe me, you are marvelously changed. He says, oh, trust me, because of your sadness, your appearance is completely different. Antonio says, I hold the world, but as the world, Graciano, a stage where every man must play a part, and mine a sad one. Antonio says, oh, Graciano, you see, I just see the world as a stage, okay, where every person gets to play a part, and my part is just this part of a sad man. So now Graciano says, oh, then let me play the fool. With mirth and laughter, let wrinkles come, and let my liver heat, rather heat with wine than my heart cool with mortifying groans. Why should a man whose blood is warm within sit like his grandsire, cut in alabaster by being peevish? I tell thee what, Antonio, I love thee, and it is my love that speaks. There are a sort of men whose visages do cream and mantle like standing pond, and do wilful stillness entertain, of purpose to be dressed in an opinion of wisdom, gravity, profound conceit, as who should say, I am Sir Oracle, and when I ope my lips let no dog bark. Oh, my Antonio, I do know of these, that therefore are only reputed wise for saying nothing, when I am sure, very sure, if they should speak, would almost damn those ears which hearing them would call their brothers fools. So now let me explain this. Graciano says, now you see, Antonio replies, the world is a stage and I played a part of sad man. Graciano says, oh, then let me play the fool, the clown. He says, with mirth and laughter, let old wrinkles come. Like I told before, when you smile, you know that your face gets wrinkled up, right? So he says, with mirth and laughter, with joyness and happiness and laughter, let old wrinkles come. He smiles and like those wrinkles that comes on his face when he smiles, they reappear. So then he says, let my heart cool with let my liver rather heat with wine than my heart cool with mortifying groans. He says that let my liver rather, uh, you see, in those days, in Elizabethan times, they believed, okay, that by drinking wine, your liver would get warmed. Okay, this in those days, these guys they used to believe there were four basic types of people. Okay, the choleric, the melancholy, the phlegmatic, and the sanguine. So now what he says is a liver, okay, that is heated by wine, it will give a very lively and a very fun personality. Okay, so then he says that let my liver rather heated wine. That is, let my liver heat my wine and give me a lively personality, then my heart cool with mortifying groans. You see, mortifying groans like sighing and moaning and groaning, and he says that his heart cools down. Okay, because of these, and then it dampens his personality and makes him sad. He says that I would rather be a lively, happy person than be a melancholic, sad person. He says that why should a man whose blood is warm within, our blood is warm, right? He says that why should a man whose blood is warm, sit like an alabaster statue of his grandfather, alabaster statue, like a marble statue, will be like cold to touch, right? So he says that why should a man whose blood is warm within, sit like a statue of his grandfather, which is like cold? And then he says, sleep when he wakes and creep into jaundice by being peevish. He says, sleep when he wakes. You know that sad people, they appear dull. So he says that sleep when he wakes means that he refers to the dull, the dullness of the face of the sad people. And, you get what I'm saying. And then he says, creep into jaundice by being peevish. You see, those times, the Elizabethans, they believed that, okay, diseases were caused by being a bad person. Okay, so he says by being peevish, by being irritating, by being easily irritated and being like very melancholic. Okay, he says that why? Okay, why should I? He says that why should a person like be like a statue? Okay, why should he like always be dull? Why should he creep into jaundice? I told you, right? They believe that diseases were caused. He says that why should they unnecessarily get jaundice by being peevish, easily irritated and like short tempered and melancholic. He says, I tell you what, Antonio. And then like this is like mm, a statement, a side statement. That's why there's a bracket there and like in your text, two lines, okay, before and after the sentence. He says that and he says this openly. He says it, it's kind of like he's saying it out to the audience. Like it's for dramatic effect. Okay. He says, I love you, and it is my love that is speaking. Okay, he says that there are a sort of men. Okay, there are a type of men whose visages, okay, visages means faces, okay, they cream and mantle like a standing pond. If you see a standing pond, on top there will be scum on it, the green dirty thing which floats on top, that's scum. He says that there are sort of people, okay, who have faces very still and like serious, like a person, like a standing pool that has come on top of it, okay, and they, okay, they purposely they put on, okay, they purposely put on like a serious, look, okay, okay, just to be like said by others, oh, just to be like called by others to be wise, okay, to be like knowing everything, okay, to to be in deep thought, okay. So like you just that there are sort of people, okay, whose faces are very serious and they purposely keep their faces serious so that when other people look at them, they can say, oh my god, what a serious person, he must be a wise man, he must be a man who thinks deeply, okay, he must be a very great man, okay, well, okay. But he also says that as who should say, I am Sir Oracle, and when I open my lips, let no dog bark. As if that person wants to say, the person who like puts on an air of seriousness, he says that I, he wishes to say, okay, he just by putting on this air of seriousness, he says, oh, as if it's like as if he wants to say, I am Sir Oracle. Oracle means, in Greek mythology, Oracle refers to a wise old person who like tells, okay, another person's fortune, what's going to happen in the future. Okay, so like literally in traditional wise person, he says, "I am Sir Oracle. Okay, when I open my lips, let no dog bark." Okay, he says that I am Sir Oracle. These oracles were also prophets. Okay, so whatever they say, people listened to them because they were considered as the voices of God. So he says, I am Sir Oracle. Okay, when I open my lips, let no dog bark. So these people who put on airs of seriousness, okay, they like willfully put on an air of seriousness so as to get a general opinion stating that they are very wise men. Okay, it's as if like they're saying, I am Sir Oracle, I am a prophet, I am the voice of God. And when I open my lips, okay, no person should speak. Okay, he says, oh my Antonio, oh Antonio, these men, they're just reputed for being wise. People just call them wise, okay, because they don't say anything. But I am very sure if they speak, okay, the other people would call them fools. You see, according to Christian tradition, Christian laws, you're not supposed to call a person a fool. Okay? You see, in Christian, your neighbor is your for Christians, your neighbor is your brother, and he says that. And for Christians, okay, if you call your brother a fool, it means it's a sin. Okay, he says that these men, okay, these men, if they speak and other people hear them, the others will then call them fools and in turn damn themselves. Okay, because now they have committed a sin by calling their brothers fools, he says. Now let's continue. He says, I tell thee more of this another time, but fish not with this melancholy way, for this fool gudgeon. This opinion, come, good Lorenzo, fare you well a while. I'll end my exhortation after dinner. He says, I'll tell you more about this another time. Okay, but I'm telling you, don't put on this air of melancholy. Okay, don't just play with this melancholy bit. Okay, because if you are going to put on this air of melancholy, then it's like it's like you're trying to put on a similar air to these foolish men. Okay, he says, do not do something as cheap as this. Okay, a full gudgeon. A gudgeon is like a very cheap fish. Okay, which is worth almost nothing. He says this cheap fish, this very cheap little thing. Okay, this little opinion of people, of other people. Okay, the opinion that they give you as a wise person, and then he gets cut, and then he cuts short. Okay, he interrupts himself by saying, "Come, good Lorenzo." He's now talking to Lorenzo. He says, and then he says, "Fare you a while." Okay, fare you well a while. Well, goodbye for now. Okay, after dinner, they said that later for dinner, they're meeting. They said that I will continue with my speech and then I'll end it after dinner. Lorenzo says, we will leave you then till dinner time. I must be one of these same dumb wise men, for Graciano never lets me speak. Lorenzo says, well, well, for now we'll leave. We'll meet again at dinner time. Well, I think that I'm similar to these, dumb wise men. Okay, because I never speak. Graciano never lets me speak. Okay. Graciano says, oh, well, keep me company, but 2 years more, thou shalt not know the sound of thine own tongue. Grashana then jokes back. He says, hey, you keep me company. You stay with me for 2 more years, and I'm telling you, you won't even remember the sound of your own voice. For him. Antonio says, fare you well, I'll grow a talker for this year. Antonio says, oh, goodbye for now. Oh, I'm coming, I'll grow a talker. Okay, talker means he's now, okay, referring to Gonzalo's dialogue. Gonzalo says that silent men are fools, so he says that I will become a talker. Okay, means I will come out of my melancholy, I will talk more because of this advice. Okay, Graciano, thanks, if fate, for silence is only commendable in a niche tongue dried Okay. So now Graciano says, "Oh, thanks indeed." Okay. For silence is only to be praised. Okay. In a dried ox's tongue. Okay. Now Graciano and Lorenzo, they now exit. Okay. Now they leave. Okay. So now Bassanio says, "Is that anything now?" Okay. And so now Antonio says, "Is that anything now?" Antonio says, "Did that make any sense to you?" He's speaking to Bassanio. He says, "Did that make any sense to you?" Bassanio says, "Graciano speaks an infinite deal of nothing, more than any man in all Venice. His reasons are as 2 grains of wheat in 2 bushels of chaff. You seek all day ere you find them, and when you have them, they're not worth the search." So now Bassanio says, "You see, Graciano, he speaks a lot of nonsense, more than any other man in Venice. Okay, his reasons, okay, his advices, his speeches, okay, they're like 2 grains of wheat. They have the same worth as 2 grains of wheat, okay, hidden in 2 bushels of chaff. Chaff is that that extra parts of the grain, the wheat plant that are like removed. So he says that it's like having 2 grains of wheat hidden in 2 bushels of chaff. You'll search all through the day to find those 2 grains, and in the end, after searching, you'll find out that those 2 grains are worthless. They were not worth the search. Okay. So now Antonio says, "Well, tell me now, what lady is the same to whom you swore a secret pilgrimage that you today promised to tell me of?" He says, "Oh, now," Antonio says to Bassanio, "well, now, tell me about that lady, okay, to whom you promised to secretly visit. Okay, you promised me that you'll tell me about her today. Okay, well, this is all for today. This is all for today, students. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Stay tuned for more explanations. Thank you.